Hello, my name is Austin Roberts, and this is my current issues in sports presentation. I'm doing mine over college NIL. The topic that I'm going to talk about today and discuss is Nico Iamaleava versus the University of Tennessee. So, kind of some background. This last spring, Nico Iamaleava decided he was going to opt out of spring practices in demand for more NIL money. And for one of the first times, noted or public, however you want to say it, the school actually stood up to the student athlete and decided that it wasn't going to pay their NIL, and it ended up with Nico Iamaleava transferring, and he reportedly got less NIL than what he was demanding out of Tennessee. So the scope is very big. The NCAA is a multi-billion-dollar company, and there's a lot of aspects when it comes to it, and it's ever changing at this point in the time. So when it comes to athletes transferring and getting NIL deals, that's nothing uncommon. But you don't hear of schools standing up to athletes like that. Usually they just pay the money or they just quietly transfer out. And I think a school as big as the University of Tennessee doing something like that will set a precedent for the future. And I think you will start to see more schools do that. Some solutions that I came up with, a salary cap. So this one's kind of hard because a lot of NIL is supposed to be like businesses and other companies giving players money to be in commercials, but it's really just turned into a pay for play situation. And it'd be hard to really set a salary cap when it came to that. Because I mean, even before NIL was a thing, players players were being paid. I mean, it was happening under the table. So like, what's to stop it from that? What's to stop that from happening again? A CBA. So like, the biggest thing with this one is the players would have to have a union. Uh, that's actually tried to happen at a couple schools. I believe one of them was Yale. Um, so like a collective bargaining agreement, you'd have to have a group of kids that represent you. You couldn't just go at it as a big group. They would set standards for NIL, for salary cap, everything else. I mean, that's just one way to go about it. And then NIL balance. A lot of things that I've seen since NIL has started is the fact that like over time the market itself is going to balance itself out because you saw a lot of players making a lot of money right away, and then I mean, over time the market's going to go down. Players are going to start making less money, and schools are going to start keeping more of their money. I mean, maybe this is that start of that balance instead of just being a very one-sided agreement here. There's currently a bill going through Congress right now called the Restore College Act. So replace the NCAA with the ACSA, so the American Collegiate Sports Association. So some rules. There would be NIL revenue sharing between the schools and the players. So all the money that players are making at a school through NIL would go into a giant fund and then redistributed to everybody evenly who plays at that school. There would be free transfers, which is happening now. And then another thing is athletic program revenue sharing. So the athletic programs, whatever money they make, it would also go back to the student athletes. And then a cap of college coaching salaries. I believe it was college coaches couldn't make 10 times more what the tuition rate was for a student, which makes sense because right now college coaching salaries are just insane. So it's hard to argue against players being paid when coaches are being paid a lot too. And finally, the House versus NCAA agreement. There's a lot of things that have gone into that settlement, but the biggest ones that I want to talk about is like revenue sharing. So starting, I believe it's next year, schools will be able to share revenue with student athletes, up to 22% of the school's revenue. I think that's going to be a big thing that will stop NIL from being over the top because now student athletes will have like a base salary. It's going to be hard for them to demand so much money when at a minimum they're already making a percentage. The problem with this one is not every school's athletic department makes a revenue. So it's going to be hard for them to share the revenue throughout the entire athletic department if they don't have any revenue coming in. I believe there is one school already that's dropped to D3 because they know they won't be able to make it in the revenue sharing era because they're not making enough money. So it's just not fiscally capable for them to do that. The next one I want to talk about here, the last one, that's a salary cap. So the House versus NCAA settlement also sets a salary cap of schools, $20.5 million of total NIL money directly to the students. So this would help a lot. This is kind of what I was going back to before when I mentioned it, because this sets a cap. You can only spend $20.5 million as a total department on every sport. So some players here and there aren't going to get as much money as they think they're going to get. And I mean, that's just the way it's going to have to be because you're going to spread it out so you can be competitive in every sport.